Today we're taking you closer than ever before. From the newborn babies to the zoo's biggest cats and everything in between. Get ready for a wildlife experience like no other.
So today's exam was an ultrasound examination.
So sit down and get comfortable as we look inside the Woodland Park Zoo. Hello, I'm Shelby Miller and welcome to the Woodland Park Zoo. Today is going to be a very special day. In fact, I want you to think of this as a private VIP experience because we are taking you to parts of the zoo very few people ever get to see. Right now, we're in the commissary, and through these doors is where they make all the delicious salads, steaks, and sweet treats for the animals at Woodland Park Zoo. These are areas that guests probably don't even realize are here. So today, I'm excited to get my hands dirty, meal prepping for the hungriest of the animals. But first, the day starts bright and early because we have to deliver all the meals to every exhibit. I call shotgun, let's go. Stacking up color-coded crates filled with tons of food.
Gray is coded for fruits and veggies, and then anything in a dark blue tote is a meat tote.
It's 5:30 a.m., 4 hours before the zoo even opens. And Julie Ray's day is already well underway. She's up with the birds, making sure all the animals at the Woodland Park Zoo have the freshest and finest meals delivered directly to their door.
This is all Northern Trail, wolf elk, quarantine at animal health, felines, obviously get a lot of meat.
Once the truck bed is loaded, off we go. Our first stop is the giraffe barn.
There's Dave.
Dave the
Hi,
giraffe.
buddy.
Oh my gosh, he's so cool.
He's awesome.
Julie drops off the totes of food and boxes of romaine.
Watch your step here. It's a little goofy.
So zookeepers can give the animals their most important meal of the day.
I think delivering to the giraffe barn in the morning is one of the coolest ways to start the day.
Hi.
Saying hi to Dave and the girls.
But we can't stay for long because there's just so much to do.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, Dave.
One delivery down, a dozen to go.
Felines, tapirs, Asian small-clawed otters, Australasia, which is a whole range of birds and kangaroos. The emus are there.
As you can imagine, it takes a while to get through the 92-acre zoo.
Do you think people realize all the behind the scenes that happens at the zoo when they're not here?
You know, I started out as a volunteer and I thought I kind of understood how things operated, and then I became an employee and I still fully don't comprehend all the moving parts that it takes.
And it all needs to be done before guests get here.
It's me.
Julie does half the deliveries.
Up with the birds.
And her counterpart trucks around the other load.
You get a good upper body workout every morning.
We call it commissary CrossFit.
No wonder. These containers can be heavy.
Does this go over there too? All of it?
Some are filled with fresh produce, others with frozen bones and meat.
So what's in here?
This would be lots of romaine, some green leaf, bananas, broccoli.
Now that everyone has their food, it's time to start meal prepping for tomorrow. This kitchen is where all the meals are made.
While that cooks, I'm gonna work on my reptile salad.
Chopping up handfuls of kale, heads of romaine, and tons of sweet potatoes.
And I don't think people would ever think that, oh, reptiles are getting a salad made for them and the birds are getting a particular salad made for them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people assume that reptiles are only eating meat, but that's just not the case for some.
In fact, the salads they make here in the zoo kitchen rival the ones you get when you go out to eat.
We only buy restaurant quality food for the animals. We're buying about 2,000 pounds per delivery, and we get deliveries twice a week.
Here at the zoo, there's a lot of mouths to feed. There's so much food. They need 2 freezers and a giant walk-in fridge to fit it all, and that's just the beginning.
We have grains for the animals, hay, alfalfa, tons of different kinds of meat and prey items. So the animals are eating very natural diets, so like rats, mice, things that they would naturally be eating in the wild.
Animal care managers make special diet sheets for every species. Diet specialists, like Andrea Snyder, cut up the food, weigh it down to the gram, box it up, and label it every single day.
There's a turtle there who gets it.
It's far from simple, especially when you're dealing with picky eaters like the penguins.
They really prefer their fish to be perfect. They can't be broken up, so we have to fish through all of our boxes full of the different kinds of fish we get, just to make sure that we're giving them the exact sizes that they want, but also that there aren't any scales missing or anything that the penguins are going to reject.
This sweet concoction is a treat few would deny, and I got to help make it.
We are making bear mash, which is going to go to the sloth bears.
That's right, there's even recipes for the animals, and they're people approved.
Have you tried this?
I have,
The
yeah.
bear mash, is
It's
it good?
really good, yeah.
I think people would be surprised that there's recipes for
Yeah.
all the animals too. It's not just plain and simple, like here's some meat and here's some veggies. It's
Yeah.
a recipe that you're making for them.
Lucky for me, this one's pretty foolproof.
It ends up looking kind of like porridge once it's all mixed up.
It goes in a container, gets popped in the freezer,
Nice job.
and later this week, this sweet snack will make a lucky sloth bear's day.
I really feel like we are a small part of something really, really big. And I know that I'm speaking for all of my team when I say that we all feel really lucky that we get to come in every day and do this work.
Still to come, the surprises continue. We'll take you inside a rhino spa. Yes, just like us, these guys like to start the day with a hot shower. Who doesn't love a day at the spa? It's relaxing, it's rejuvenating, and these greater one-horned rhinos clearly agree. It's safe to say they're a bit spoiled. They can unwind in their personal hot tub twice a day. Wading in the 91-degree water. It's bath time in the Rhino Barn, one of Taj and Glenn's favorite times of day.
This is pretty amazing because these guys really enjoy the water. So obviously in the colder months we have here in Seattle, this really nice 91-degree water actually helps them stay a little bit warmer.
Rhinos love the water, but who knew they also enjoy a nice soak in a steamy spa. Lucky for them, they have a personal hot tub at Woodland Park Zoo. Every day, animal keeper Chet Harmon fills up their massive tub, tosses in dozens of leaves of delicious romaine, and lets the boys in to relax and play. Taj loves to blow bubbles in the water. And the two sometimes fight over who gets to lay out in front of the jet.
They're both very funny animals to work with.
They're young and full of personality. Both were born in November of 2016. They're not brothers, but they're only a day apart. Right now, they're about 3,000 pounds, and they're only half grown. One day, they'll be closer to 3 tons. The recovery of the greater one-horned rhino is one of the greatest conservation success stories in Asia. The species was on the brink of extinction in the 20th century. There were fewer than 200 rhinos left. These days, there's about 3,600.
If I'm in a bad mood, I see these guys and it's automatically gone.
Watching these rhinos splash in the pool would put a smile on anyone's face. The warm water isn't just relaxing, it's rejuvenating.
Their skin is very, very thick. It's 1.5 inches thick in most areas, so it's very, very thick. It's very, very tough and really, really hard. It almost feels just like concrete, like you put your hand on concrete.
Soaking helps soften their skin, and it's great for their nails. It's almost breakfast time, but first, the rhinos get to rinse off in their own oversized shower, equipped with a half-dozen shower heads. When you're this big, you get a lot to eat. In fact, full-grown rhinos eat 35,000 calories a day. It's important they never miss a mealtime.
A lot of people are, oh my gosh, I can't believe you get that big on just a salad, but it's possible.
Want some more?
These guys are grazers, which means they stick to veggies, greens, grasses, and hay.
He's not as slobbery of an eater as I thought he would be. He's pretty clean.
Give him time. So he just got out of the bath.
A soak, hot shower, and snacks? I'd say that's a pretty good way to start the day. Coming up, it takes a village to make sure these wild animals are well fed. We'll break down their diets, show you some special recipes, and explain how their detailed meal plans set these graceful longnecks up for success.
Yeah, you see her? Oh, good boy. So Dave is one of our giraffe here. He's a reticulated giraffe. He is gonna be 8 in November. He came to us from Illinois area. And he's been with us now for about 6 years. He's just gonna rip those leaves right off of there. So in the wild, that's what they would do, is they'd spend all day just foraging for those kind of leaves. Because a giraffe the size of Dave, he needs to eat about 75 pounds of leaves every day. Oh, good boy. To help supplement his diet, they do get a lot of the sprouts, but we also give them alfalfa every day, just like you would a horse. And they do get a romaine, because romaine is basically fiber and water, so it's really good to help supplement their diet with that. And as you can see, he really likes it too.
Yes.
And that's a much healthier alternative to the cookies. So we do have one of his toys over here. So what we did is we put in some grain and some romaine. So if you'll watch, he's gonna try and put his tongue through and he'll get the food out of there. Oh, good boy. As you can see, he's getting his tongue in there.
Oh my gosh.
And he's gonna start ripping that romaine out of there.
And how many times a day do you feed him?
So he gets about 15 pounds of grain. He gets as much alfalfa as he wants. And then he also gets as much browse as we can actually give them every day. Good. Oh, good boy.
Ooh, so much slobber.
I know.
Welcome back to the Woodland Park Zoo. We've already had a spa day with our rhino friends here. We've meal prepped for tomorrow, and now it's time to really get into the wild. Dinner time has its own unique challenges, but here at the zoo, they've proven they're ready to adapt to care for their animals. From the trees to the rocks, do you ever wonder where all the elements inside an exhibit come from? Well, incredibly, almost all of it is made right here inside the shop at the zoo. I'm joined now by exhibits manager John Borgmeyer to explain some of the things that we're seeing around here. And John, I will say, to me, this is the most amazing. Tell us about the vines you make.
So these are our artificial vines that we fabricate here in the shop. And this is a finished vine you see in front of you, but over here you see the beginning of this vine, and these vines are made of artificial fire hose.
That's right. The vines you see gorillas and siamang swinging from at Woodland Park Zoo are fake. They're old donated fire hoses exhibit staff upcycle. and we got a behind-the-scenes look at the process. But we couldn't get too close because this work takes some strong chemicals, which is why workers are wearing masks and gloves. To make vines, hoses get coated with urethane rubber, and then they get coated again. Another person comes through and embosses the vine using a mold to add texture and make this old hose look even more lifelike. Later, they'll come back and paint. It's a tedious 8-hour process that is all done by hand.
And it's also realistic.
Right, and that's the idea. We here at Woodland Park Zoo strive for naturalistic exhibits and providing a real environment for our animals to live in.
It's an incredible image when you picture a 400-pound gorilla will be hanging from this
Yes.
one day.
One arm just hanging there having a great day, or our baby gorilla will scamper up this vine to the top of the tree and stand on the top of the tree and enjoy the view.
These vines will hold primates of all shapes and sizes, and they'll last 10 to 20 years, much longer than a real vine. This technique isn't just used for vines. If you have a keen eye for detail, you may spot this bark-looking artwork on trees throughout the zoo.
John, we saw all the amazing work you guys did in the shop, but now we're actually out here at the Stellar Sea Eagle exhibit because one of the huge projects you and your team members worked on is in fact right here. But it's tough to tell what's real and what's not real.
Right, exactly. So several years ago, we created this artificial tree. The original eagle tree was natural, actually, and then it rotted over time, and we decided for longevity and durability and consistency, we'd make an artificial tree. So we created that one out of concrete and steel.
So that giant tree right there is made out of concrete and steel.
Absolutely. Much like the step we saw earlier, it's the same idea. It is a...
They like it.
I know it. They want to be famous too. It is a steel armature that has concrete on it, and then that concrete is embossed and carved to look like bark, and then it's painted so that you can't tell the difference.
The branches are rubber coated, making them easier on the eagle's feet, and they're flexible. It took exhibit staff a lot of trial and error to get just the right amount of bounce, making these fake branches mimic ones eagles rest on in the wild.
Do you think the eagles can tell a difference?
I don't think they can. And I think they're happy to have a custom tree with all the features that they need to be healthy and successful here in this exhibit.
There's also a few hidden features, including a camera. Zoo staff used this to look inside the eagle's nest. And speaking of nest, that's custom too.
That is an artificial nest that we made.
That's amazing. And they use it all the time.
They use it all the time. Every year they lay some eggs, and we're hoping for successful babies sometime soon.
Woodland Park Zoo pioneered naturalistic exhibits 45 years ago. Since then, the exhibits team has been working hard to create durable, economical, and sustainable projects that enhance the animals' homes. Sometimes that means fixing old parts, like doors. Other times it means drilling, shaping, and welding metal to make new elements for the animals. They also use local lumber to create exhibit masterpieces.
The wood you see here and the slabs up on the rack up there come from trees that came down from the grounds of Woodland Park Zoo, and we have recycled to use in exhibits. We do a lot of that work ourselves, as you can see from our Alaska mill saw up there.
That thing's impressive.
It's a really big saw.
And that is what you need in order to cut some stuff like this here?
To make a slab just like this, and this slab right here will undoubtedly end up in an enclosure somewhere, probably as a ramp to help one of our geriatric animals access a shelf or a bed or something like that. We don't just get wood from on grounds. We have partnerships from around the city as well. The new Seattle Center Arena, we partnered with the Oakview Group to have a lot of the trees that they were taking down from around Key Arena brought out to the zoo. So we are going to end up recycling those on grounds into slabs, benches, perching in exhibits. We really try to recycle as much as we possibly can.
By now, you've probably picked up on the fact realism is crucial at Woodland Park Zoo, even when it comes down to something as seemingly straightforward as a concrete step.
The level of detail you see here in this step is an indication of the passion and dedication that my staff has for the work that they do and the animals that they care for.
So the reason that this looks so natural is because you really made this step out of leaves and out of logs that you have here at the zoo.
Absolutely. That is one of the things we like to do, is we like to recycle as much as we can from on grounds and use Mother Nature as our cues for our exhibits. It's hard to beat Mother Nature when it comes to an artificial log, right?
Which is why the molds are all custom made.
When these go out to the zoo exhibits, who will be stepping on this?
This step right here will probably end up in the gorilla exhibit. It might be a little off view for our patrons, but it will create a safe environment for our keeper staff to access the uneven terrain that is in the exhibits.
And it'll blend right in.
It'll blend right in. You won't even know it's there.
And that is always the goal.
Do you think people even realize that this shop is here and that so many of the items like the vines aren't really real?
I don't really know the answer to that question, but I hope that they don't. I hope they look at that exhibit and think, wow, everything in there is absolutely real. And the more that we do our jobs, the less you know that we're doing our jobs.
And you guys do a good job, I'll tell you that.
I have a really talented staff that helps us every step of the way and is dedicated and passionate to the work that they do.
What a day here at the Woodland Park Zoo. We went to the spa with the rhinos, we meal prepped for the birds, bears, and reptiles, and got a behind-the-scenes look at the incredible work the exhibits team does, like this you see around me here. And who could forget the giraffes? Coming up next week, we dive into everything living Northwest. Yes, that means we introduce you to the stars of the wild that reside right here in Washington, and a few of them you can find right in your own backyard. If you want to know more about the Woodland Park Zoo, just head to their website. Or stop by and enjoy a day wandering through the zoo's beautiful 92 acres. That does it for us today. I'm Shelby Miller. I hope you enjoyed this look inside the Woodland Park Zoo.